Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I make turtles.
It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neal Ruhl. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Hey, yo. Welcome back. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. That guy over there is D-Mac, Darren McCarty, four-time Stanley Cup champion. We got Sam Flannel in the house on brand. We got Sawyer here on the production side as well. Happy to have all with us as we roll in. What is today? Thursday, right?
Thursday.
All right. We are rocking and rolling.
We're almost there, bro.
We are almost there. We are rocking and rolling. Happy to have you all along for the ride with us. There's a lot cracking today. A lot going on in the world. A lot going on in the sports world as well. We're going to touch on all of it. Red Wings got cooked last night.
It showed us when we talk about it. It showed we talked about yesterday, and this game showed me everything that I talked about yesterday of what could be, where we want to be. Colorado is what I thought they were, and the Red Wings are what I thought they were also. And it was good to have you and the boys in the barn to be able to. It's nice to put the eyeballs to the test there, and I watched. Probably 2.5 periods from a bunch of different places, and so we'll talk about it.
No, we will. We'll get into it. And I mentioned yesterday, I said I'm going to be locked into this game. Ended up sliding down there with my kids and stuff like that. Was locked into it. Didn't like what I saw, especially in that first period. So, hey, we'll discuss. But I told you guys this was coming, though. And no one's been more positive about what's going on with the Red Wings than me. But this was a little checkpoint. Do I say throw in the towel and that's it and it's not going to? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Oh,
we'll say it like that.
I hated that one.
I'm not mad.
Hated that one.
I'm disappointed.
Thanks, Roberto McCarty.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that coming up in the second hour. We'll get to that as well. The best game day cities in America, where does Detroit rank? And I think that's a pretty cool topic to touch on. Also, the Lions draft capital, where they stack up as far as the rest of the teams. You know, that's my forte. That's where I live. So we'll discuss that as well. But there's a ton of stuff to get to. The Red Wings breakdown as well.
Can I, Sawyer and I, can I interrupt you just for a second? And guys, we know. Yesterday, we were on a little bit of a diatribe, and Neal made the point that we love football, NFL football, and we're going through the USFL draft. Well, I told, Sawyer and I were talking after the show, and I told him that there's something not sitting right. I need him to do a deep dive on this because you were a little bit too down on football, and we figured it out. Sawyer went deep, so for everybody who's looking at home, we realized there he is. Neal Ruhl was selected in the 12th round, and so the fact that he graded out better than Shea Patterson at the combines, and you did, so you're bitter because you thought that your stats, you should have gone first overall.
Well, the story is that Shea Patterson and I have very similar professional quarterbacking resumes.
Well, that's why you're bitter. So we just want to let everybody know we found that photo, wanted to show you that could be it.
But D-Mac, all I can say, though, is now I have my opportunity.
That's all
because
you want.
I was drafted. So none of that stuff matters now. What matters is when I get to training camp with the Michigan Panthers and we take snaps, I'm going to do what's necessary. And now I have the stage to show off my talents. And it's a competition. The best man will win. I'm looking forward to making Shea Patterson better. I'm looking forward to Shea Patterson making me better. And may the best man win.
I think you're locked in on that $600 a week, bro.
That's exactly what it is.
He's going for the bag. All right, congratulations anyways.
I did take some heat yesterday on social media about that. Well, yeah, everybody was like staunchly defending this USFL. And don't worry, I'm keeping receipts, everybody. And like I said, June 1st, we're going to circle the wagons back. And Sawyer and I are going to break this thing down. And when those ratings are like a 0.4 on National Fox Network, I don't want to. I'm not, because I'm not the kind of guy that looks in the camera and says, "I told you so. I told you so." I'm not that kind of guy. I'll just present you the numbers, and you can draw your own conclusion. So we'll say it like I was surprised though at the amount of people that were just staunchly defending the USFL, and it makes me laugh because you guys are not going to watch. You're not. When June comes, you're going to move on. You are. And I know that baseball is doing the stuff baseball is. And speaking of that, my son's on midwinter break from high school. So we have him in the studio today. So we're going to talk to him coming up in the second hour as well. We'll talk about baseball. And D-Mac's got some wrestling stuff for him. And he's going to talk some gaming with Sawyer and all that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting. It's more along the lines of getting to see where the 14-year-old mind is these days in relation to sports. So we'll get into all that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lewis M. says, on this stage right now, 4 Stanley Cups and a USFL playoff win between the two of you. That's right.
Nice.
It will be.
Baby steps. We're always looking to add to the resume.
Yeah.
We're always looking to add to the resume.
Right. I do want to talk about this, though. Robert Klosia, who listens to us, he's out in California, is a soccer agent, among other things, said, I represent a player from Ukraine in FIFA training compensation case. They're currently under attack. My agent partner has been texting me from Kiev. And it is real. And this is going to be tricky to navigate because I do feel, and we'll do this, we talk sports, I would say, D-Mac, what, about 90% of the time? It's sports and checkout lanes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, sports and checkout lanes at supermarkets and furnace talk. Like that's
two
furnace talk.
Furnace talk.
But it is Jake Wegener. I will be watching. Neal highly underestimates my love of football. Okay, Jake, you'll crack, man.
But
you will crack.
I think that before we move on to the real and serious topics, I think the point is, Neal, is that here we go again, another effort that us as fans will be checked out in within 2 months. That's what that is your whole point there.
Right.
Not that here we go. It's just that here we go again. So. I think we'll all be dialed in early. It's just who will be there when June comes around.
Yeah, and that'll be the story on Jake. You're one. We'll keep tabs. And I know you'll watch just to spite me, and that's funny and everything like that. But Tammy Chin says, my heart is sad for the people in the Ukraine. And, you know, guys, I'm not here for the politics end of it because I just kind of check out from politics. It's a no-win situation on many fronts. Like, we all know that. I'm not here for that. I guess my question to you guys is because I check out of politics, we employ people in the United States of America to handle that, right? It's like everything else. Like, we elect people, they do that stuff. They draw their salary. That's their job. My job is to come here and talk sports with D-Mac and you guys. Like, that's my job here. So I execute that job. Tonight, I have to do play-by-play for Oakland on television. I'll execute that job. I tend to not go out of my lane. I tend to not step out of my lane. I'm very much like that. But with that being said, I don't really have a full-on understanding of what exactly the deal is. Adam Baydoun, who's on the morning Woodward show, he kind of educated me. He gave me the Cliff Notes version as to what's going on. He brought up some points. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, D-Mac, other than I'm curious if people could explain it to me like I'm an idiot, because I am an idiot when it comes to politics. That would be cool. I'm not going to talk about this the whole show, obviously, but this is something that's real. You're seeing the videos and all that stuff. It is something that's real, and it does make your heart break, man.
No, it breaks your heart because, what you realize is, and we sit here and we talk sports all day for this connection, across the world. Robert brings it back close because, the sports, the athletes, the people in Ukraine and in these countries where this happens, this is, when things happen in the world, it's a world event. So, you hope for the best possible outcome, but, it's sort of the times we're living in. You look at that, you talk about things we don't talk about. You watch the market go, down and stuff because of the insecurity or just not the unknown, right? I think more people are where you're at. I'm more where you're at, where you want to listen to the information coming in. But I think we're just, the hands are tied, and it does. I think the compassion for fellow human beings who are going on with that, and you can turn on any of the TV stations and see what's going on over there right now. So, I'd really, it's just prayers to everybody, like you said, and the compassion, and at the end of the day, hopefully this ends in the best possible way for everybody.
Yeah, AC says Russia wants to annex eastern Ukraine because it sees NATO as a threat, but Russia has been aggressive against neighboring countries, which pushes them towards NATO. This is 100% on Russia. And look, again, I'm not an expert on it. Some of the things that I was turned on to were, and there were like a lot of comparisons made about how would this work if it were Mexico and America, and Mexico wanted to form an alliance with, with North Korea and China and Russia. And I mean, like, I get all that stuff. It's just every time I see these videos, man, and we go through this every couple of years, right, where we see, some war pop off somewhere and stuff like that. And somebody earlier said, we're pretty lucky because we get to live in ignorance pretty much about what it's like to be invaded and stuff like that. And we got a taste of that once, about 21 years ago. We got a taste of that a little bit. We didn't like that taste. I know that. But still, with all that being said, I think there is a degree of truth to that. And D-Mac, look, I've always said, like, my life is not the norm. And that's something I always try to talk to about our kids. Like, the way that we live, the what I do for a living, I'll never know pressure the way that my parents knew pressure, working in the car factories and stuff like that. Like, I don't know that pressure. I'm respectful of it. I understand it. And I think that applies to this. And, some of the videos you see and everything like that, I think we do have a level of, I guess, cognitive dissonance to it all, because like we can't relate to that.
Well, the cognitive dissonance is like some of the comments is that, oh, you talked about this on a sports talk show or whatever like this. Well, yeah, what are you supposed to keep your head down in the sand and forget everything that's going on? Yeah, maybe
we're going to do the sports. We are.
Listen, I don't care. Here's the thing. If you do not realize we do not care what you think we are supposed to be doing, we are going to do what we think is right to do, whether you like it or not, right? Like, that's the whole thing, and this is important enough to at least say something about it, because you're not going to put your head in the sand and let it wash over. No, we're going to just address it in this first open and then go back talking sports, pretending all this doesn't happen. But the reality is that it does happen. So you don't like it, turn the channel, but this won't change, because this is what accountability is in the world. And I know we use sports and the talk like this, but if we don't engage with each other and show the compassion when things are going on, that this is the reality in the world, I don't want you watching. Go watch something else, because you're not going to help anything else. It's the community, and it's the togetherness of it. The sports is just the outlier. The fact that this is the life that we're dealing with, and the repercussions to everything else, right? I'm more concerned with somebody telling me not to hit the big pothole on 12 Mile and Southfield because it's the size of a kitchen. That's what I'm more interested in, because that's the real deal that I'm dealing with. So I know it's across the world and stuff, but you have to know what's going on. It would just be, it wouldn't be responsible if we didn't just at least say, hey, we know what's going on.
Lance is gone, says, thank you, Neal and D-Mac. I'm guessing for talking about this. Tommy B says, this is huge. You have to talk about it. I agree, D-Mac. This is more important than sports. And, that's what it is for me. And again, I don't have answers. And that's why, when we did our pre-production meeting, I'm not looking for the political angle of it, because I don't understand it, and I don't pretend to. And this isn't Fox News or CNN. Like, this isn't my job.
We're not here. And this is where we go. It's not about the right or the wrong or what to do. It's about the why, right? It's about the why, and the why, or what is going on. Because like you, Neal, a lot of us, the misinformation, disinformation. So at least if we are aware, and we're not going to solve anything, but we're going to pay attention to it, because it could affect us all in the long run.
No doubt. And there's people talking obviously about gas prices and stuff. Yeah, get ready for that. I mean, Russia's the largest producer of oil out there. So yes, gas prices are going to go up. This is, that's another angle of all this. So, AC says we haven't seen something like this since World War II, and that is my concern. Obviously, you're going to be concerned about that. When you start talking about global superpowers that are getting in the mix, and now the China discussions and all that stuff, it is, man. It's a little bit frightening, especially for somebody, again, like us here, we don't live with this regularly. We are kind of blissfully ignorant to it. I raise my hand and say I am blissfully ignorant to it.
And I guess, you know what, thank you, Smitty, for bringing this up. But you know what, there's a connection that, especially in the hockey world, where it's a worldwide sport. So
right.
and because the Ukraine, and I'm old enough, back when the USSR was just all the different countries were under one, the Soviet Union and stuff like this. So, yeah, I guess my heart goes out to my brethren, because you don't even know. Like somebody could tell me, Igor's nephew is down there. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it hits closer to home than you think today.
No doubt about that. Wish everybody would just chill out and have a gypsy vodka. How about that? That would be my first plan of attack right there. If I were going to go handle this, I get everybody together and bring that beautiful bottle in there with me. Michigan's gluten-free vodka, 50 different formulas, countless taste tests. But Gypsy's the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. It's gluten-free. It's corn distilled 6 times. It uses artesian spring water. Yes, and it's locally made in Petoskey. Yes, but here's the bottom line, guys. You pour it in the glass, it tastes good. You'll have no enemies if you're sitting in the room and you got the bottle of Gypsy out there with some club soda and some limes, or if you're Sawyer in your Bloody Mary, however you're doing it, Gypsy vodka is the best choice. Here's the deal, guys. If you haven't tried it yet, just try. I'm asking you, try it one time. Roll through the supermarket, ask for it by name, say, hey, where that Gypsy vodka at? Cop a bottle of it, put it in your cart, bring it home, and mix it into wherever you mix vodka into. And let me know. Get back to me. I'm telling you guys, you'll appreciate the fact that you did it. Gypsy Vodka, Michigan's own Gypsy Vodka. Ask for it by name, and as always, drink responsibly.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We'll have my son in studio coming up in the second hour. Gaming, some wrestling, just baseball through the eyes of a 14-year-old, which is it's a pretty sobering discussion if you're a baseball fan. But right now, I did want to slide in. We figured it was important to bring it up. It's a worldwide thing. We're seeing the videos of it going on right now. And again, I don't have the answers, but judging by our YouTube chat thread, remember, you can tap into the YouTube chat thread anytime you want. Get your thoughts out there. We will interact with them. Our Twitter handles are on the screen as well. Send us a tweet on social media. We interact with all of that and appreciate you tapping in to the show. But judging by that, a lot of people are involved in the YouTube chat thread right now. But you know what, guys? We talked all year long about the Lions and the clock and D-Mac's clock, and we're 34 games. That was the mark. The 2023 season, that was the mark. We blinked and we got through 17 of them. So we're halfway home right now as far as where we want to go. But now I guess you would say the payoff for the suffering comes, because the draft is coming up in April. We're close. We're close. You can sense it every time that Sam Flannel drops that beat. It hits a little harder, and we're ready to roll, man. We are. And the Detroit Lions, it's stacking up pretty much exactly the way that I wanted it to. When you look at the draft capital chart, the Lions have the 5th most draft capital in the NFL this year. And D-Mac, I'm not going to do deep dives with players or anything like that. It's more of a situational-based thing. But Now we're getting somewhere, D-Mac.
Well, you're getting excited. You're getting interested, and not only we're talking about players, but you're looking about how can we make this into reality. Not only what is draft, Neal, tell the people what is draft capital, and when you look at this, say what are the options as you were talking about earlier through the draft process, through the Rams winning. We were hoping that they'd lose and get a 20th pick, but now we're getting the last pick in the first round, 32nd. But with the draft capital, tell the people what this means when you're going in, that even you might not have that first pick that you want to be. You have the second, but you have
five in the top 100.
All these chips, right? So the whole thing with the draft capital gives you maneuverability.
You can do what you want, right?
You can maneuver around and hone in on that specific person. Now, usually draft capital, yes, it could play out in the first round, which means we've seen it in the past where somebody says, okay, here's all my 2 first rounders, next year's first round, and we trade up for one. What I look for here is that Brad Holmes to continue to do what he's done, and this will be the middle picks, right? Maybe the late first, early second are moved into a whole bunch more third round, fourth round, fifth round, and that's okay with me. Why? Because he's proven that he can pick these diamonds out back there. So this is sort of the meat and potatoes of the draft. This is the one where it'll be obviously really exciting to see who goes number 2. But then the rest of the draft with some maneuverability, with some space, it'll be interesting to see what the game plan is for the Lions and who they are honed in on. Unlike years past, I think we're going to be speculating for most of it, and there might be a pick or a couple moves that we didn't see coming that they sort of had. Maybe we can do this down the road, right? There's one player that I think that we're going to hear. I don't know who it is, but it's like they really like one guy in the draft. Could be a linebacker in the 4th round, right? What I'm saying is that don't think it's the value at the top of the round, but with the draft capital, the value in the middle of the round. And that's what all the other teams do to build championship teams. So, again, Brad Holmes, I believe in you. Go out. And now you believe in this guy because here, how bad would you feel if Bob Quinn had all this draft capital? You'd feel sick to your stomach, just like when he had the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
Right? Sick to your stomach. So it's about trusting the guy in charge.
They drafted for them, not for the franchise.
Trusting the guy in charge. Listen, if this is a poker game, right? Brad Holmes, right? He's at a final table, 9-handed. He's sitting 4th or 5th in chips, which means he isn't on the short stack, which means he isn't in jeopardy of being the first one out. Means
and he can
he's
play
got
the game.
Playability.
He can play the game.
He can play the game. He can mix in. He doesn't have to survive.
Right. And it's interesting too, Sawyer, and putting you on the spot a little bit. If you could throw that the draft capital for the Lions, that little chart back up, where it talked about 2009 for the people watching on the YouTube channel. This is very interesting to me. Lions' highest draft capital value was in 2009. 2022 is the second highest. And what happened 5 years after that 2009 draft? 2014.
Right.
Where they had one of the best
year
defenses.
That could have been.
Yeah. Where they had.
Could have, should have, would have been.
They had one of the historically great defenses in the history of the NFL. And they were an egregious penalty flag pickup away from winning a road playoff game. It's weird how that works, right? Yeah. How you get that number there, and then 4 to 5 years later, you look what happened. Now, ultimately, here's a kicker, too. Ultimately, the Lions were one of the very last teams to be brutally punished by the way the rookie wage scale was back then. They were actually punished for drafting well, for drafting Stafford and Calvin and Sue.
Isn't that weird?
Because they couldn't keep all 3 of them at the same time.
That's the way the old system people forget, right? Where it used to be that you were penalized because of not being good, drafting high, but then you couldn't keep the payroll right. So now that's the big thing now. And there's a great question. I forget who asked it. Harley Fife asks, if you're Brad Holmes, do you go all in on this year's draft or do you go all in next year's draft? And I don't know if he needs an all-in mentality. I think that he can.
I think play
it out, right? And it goes back to which way are they building this team? Bengals or Rams, right? So if you're if the quarterback is out there and you think that you can get him and draft him and develop him, then you're going to go the Cincinnati way. Then I think that, you're more all in earlier, right? If you're going for the long play where you're going to pay the quarterback to come in and you develop the team, well, then you're going to build in these next couple drafts and then come out of that and go, here's your chunk, whoever it is. And could it be Stafford?
Honolulu Blue Sparty says, now highlight Super Bowl winners on that graph. Browns are hot garbage with lots of draft capital. Yeah, but the Browns got a playoff win last year. You know what I'm saying? That's our baseline right here, guys. We gotta crawl before we can run. So, I'm looking towards that, and then we go. And that's when we start asking the questions about, can Dan Campbell coach? And I think it's similar to what we're talking about with Jeff Blashill and the Red Wings. We're not to the point yet where that becomes an issue. We're getting to that point,
right?
But we're not to that. We're not to that point yet. So I mean, just as far as that goes,
we've moved down the road.
Yeah, we'll tackle that as it comes. But here's an interesting one, and actually, I think this will be a good YouTube poll. Sawyer AC says, "I'm more excited for the Lions' second first-round pick than the first one. Which pick are you more excited for, number 2 or number 32?"
I think it's to the point of. It's because, you sort of know what you're going to get into, right? You figure it's going to be one of the two defensive ends, right? Thibodeau or Hutchinson. At 32, we don't know, right? That's where we're at the fork in the road, right? Where you think if they like their quarterback, they draft that Malik Willis, whoever else is there, if they like somebody, or they don't, which shows you direction. So I think to that point, I'm more excited to see who they draft, maybe not just the person, but the position.
Right, and that's where it comes back down to. And for this Lions team, and Charles McLean brings up a good point too. He said, the Lions have a ton of draft capital, but only $21 million in cap space. So, go all in on this draft this year, then next year get free agents. And that's kind of my thing. That's why we kind of came to this, 2023, hashtag 2023, this 34-game clock, is that I think there's two separate constructs that Brad Holmes has to deal with right now. And I think it was a little bit under the surface for Lions fans in that there's the talent issue, which is the draft issue. Then there's the financial issue, the Trey Flowerses and those types of guys, where you have to deal with that situation. And I think that's another layer of this, where Holmes has to take a look at this roster, certainly some of the top end guys that are making the money, and say, look, are these guys do they justify their expense, number one? Which I think the answer, as far as Trey Flowers is concerned, is he a good player when he plays? Yeah, when he plays.
Right.
Well,
that's, I think that right, there's no contracts that this team has that they can't walk away from. Yeah, they would. But
there'll be some pain. There'll be a little bit of pain to do it.
But now, no pain, no gain, baby.
Right. But that plays into this year, right? Where I'm of the opinion, I'm kind of similar to what some of the people said.
This year's the cleanup. Sort of ready.
Yeah.
Clean up, sort of get it ready. So next year, with the draft capital and building towards it, that you've cleaned out that kitty and you've got some more room to go out and make a play at a free agent. This year I don't see it. Maybe a couple medium guys, a receiver, a veteran guy, but you're not going out and signing anybody for big money. That's where I think the all-in to free agency is next year, not this year.
Right, and that's where, because there's still house cleaning to do. As far as that is concerned, if you're Brad Holmes, you have to take kind of a bit of a Swiffer, I guess, to the salary cap situation with the Lions and figure out how you want to tackle that. And oh, by the way, you're setting up nicely again for next year. And that's why, guys, get ready for it. They're not going to do a lot in free agency. At least I don't think so. I think they're essentially going to punt on free agency this year. Hopefully you have some players that sign on somewhere else for big-time contracts, and then you keep cleaning up the comp picks. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a theory. I think that was certainly something, like with the Kenny Golladay thing. They were in no world were they ever looking at bringing Kenny Golladay back. They wanted that, hopefully what they hope to be a third-round comp pick, and they got it. So now away we go. And away you can go with mybookie.ag, one of the best bonus programs in the game today. They'll double your first deposit up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. That is right. You can do that. That's cool. That's fun. But when you jump on mybookie.ag, the first thing you'll notice how clean the site is, how fast everything moves. That's the key to this game, folks, especially if you're in the live betting world and doing all that kind of stuff. You got to be on top of your game. mybookie.ag moves with the times, everybody. And certainly, again, no one's going to fault you for jumping on there and doubling your first deposit up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. But you'll be blown away with how smooth the interaction is on the site itself. You got a ton of choices out there. Do the right thing. Go to mybookie.ag and tap in there with everything that they have going on. You know what it is. March Madness. Final weekend of college basketball regular season for the Golden Grizzlies, for the Detroit Titans, the Horizon League. Think about this, folks. We're ready to flip that calendar to March. It's March Madness time. Then into the Masters. I'm guessing middle of May sometime. You can start getting in on baseball. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later on as well. But all of it, all the UFC fights, boxing, all that. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Get your life in order. Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sawyer, we got Sam Flannel. What do you got, the reddish flannel on? Red-black flannel today?
I consider it more of a brown, but
okay.
Yeah, I like it. I actually should have worn this yesterday because Braylon from the bottom line had a brownish flannel. We could have matched, but alas, I did not.
Hey, is that like one of those quilted ones or whatever?
I mean, it's a pretty, thin texture. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's really comfortable, and I could even wear it in the summer since I have to wear flannels for 365 consecutive days.
Consecutive work days.
Work days, yeah.
You don't have to do it on the weekend, Sam Flannel.
You're not a savage, Neal. You're not a savage.
You just got to keep it on
We
brand.
will let you dress up and take that beautiful young lady of yours out for dinner and not a flannel.
Yes.
Give her a break with that.
Yeah, just as far as
on the
here.
weekends.
Yeah. But Sam Flannel, day number 3 of 365 consecutive work days of being on brand, of being Sam Flannel. If you're going to be Sam Flannel.
Day 4.
Oh, that's right. It's Thursday.
It's definitely day 4.
Okay. I tried to shortchange you a day there, Sam Flannel.
I kept keeping track.
But if you're going to be Sam Flannel, you got to be Sam Flannel.
Yep.
That's a great point, and so far this week, I've been on brand, so
you have.
No complaints.
You have, and I respect it, and I appreciate it, Sam Flannel. No, but we are talking the Lions draft situation. We got the YouTube poll up there right now. What Lions pick are you most excited for? 63% of you say pick number 32 over pick number 2. So those are your two choices, pick number 2 or pick number 32, which is intriguing to me. And I think it's because, D-Mac, it's because of the unknown. As you talked about, 2 is pretty much a known. It's going to be an edge rusher of some fashion.
Right, you don't think they're going to move or whatever, but there's so many different ways to go at 32 and 34, whether it's packaged, we're talking about everybody likes the and it's true. When you hear, package picks and trade down, you get sort of excited, but I guess it goes to trusting the guys in charge, as I always said, and we'll see more of the direction that these guys want to go in when the end of the first round, early second round, right? A lot of times it's cool, like, when you get the late pick in your football league draft or whatever, and then you can snake, and then you can grab a couple guys that you want. So, there's going to be some good players. There's some guys that always get passed up. There's always going to be the guy that, why didn't he go in the top 20, right? And so you just trust in the due diligence.
On Twitter, we got a message here. TCA SFTC says, looking forward to somebody talking about anything other than football. Last night, the Red Wings couldn't get around their offense. The Avs had puck control all night. Now that Stevie and the professor are here, let's go Red Wings. And we're going to get into that in the second hour. We have a full breakdown. I told you guys we were doing this. I locked in last night. Graciously was D-Mac's guest at the Red Wings game last night. Got a great view of the ice, too. Really, D-Mac, I was I was film sessioning it last night. You know what I'm
were.
saying? Like
Yeah,
I was watching different lanes.
Yeah.
Different channels, all that stuff.
All the stars were out last night. Joey brought
it
Dave
was
Coulier,
popping,
Jeff Daniels. I brought Neal Ruhl and the family. It was all of them.
Yeah, we all got some time on the Jumbotron too. It was pretty sweet.
And they panned away. I see you had a beer in your hand. You were just gonna pile drive that thing for Sawyer.
I was gonna do it for Sawyer.
Panned
yeah.
Away.
I think they're frowning on that
You're
now.
going to put your hand up and go, frat boys, right? The frat line.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
It was a small. What was it? I did go craft beer. I was on brand. I don't drink a lot of beer. I had the dirty blonde.
A small artesian.
Yeah, I had the dirty blonde, the small one. I was out there keeping it respectable, like. So it was a lot of fun. They do a good job with the game experience down there.
Phenomenal from the pregame, and Daniela and Art Regner and whoever, which one of us clowns fills in. It's always fun. But Carly Johnson, their interaction with the fans and the giveaways, and from Eric Freeney to Lance, who's on the Oregon, to everything they do. It's an entertaining event. Right? You get into it, the music and all that stuff like that, the videos. I love it. And as the team gets better and play more meaningful games, you see if you build it in this town, they will come.
Yeah, absolutely. 313presents.com, by the way, if you guys want to go slide down there. A lot of friends with that organization, so jump on that website and get down there. But we are talking Detroit Lions. We are talking about the draft situation right now, asking you which pick you guys are more excited for, and it looks like number 32 is more exciting than the number 2. And there's a lot of talk about trade down. Pistons fan 11, get another second and a third. D. Smitty says he can use 32 and 34 to trade up if he wants. I saw somebody else say Nakobe Dean at all costs. And guys, we can't. See, here's the thing with me. I'm not interested in moving up. Not at all. I'm not interested in getting rid of this draft capital that I fought so hard to obtain, D-Mac.
Yes, you did.
Because when you need a roster pretty much totality of talent, you don't get that by foregoing draft capital. You get it by acquiring draft capital. And I'm always a big trade down guy. Now, I know it takes two to tango. And it's funny to me, right? Because the same people that say trade down are like, I don't like Thibodeau, and I don't like Hutchinson, and you can't take a safety at 2, so trade down. But you know what every other NFL general manager is saying right now? I don't like Hutchinson, and I don't like Thibodeau, and we can't take a safety at 2.
You know what? It's all about trusting the guys in hand, and I know that it hasn't worked out before, but I guess the whole thing with and I still hope that it could, long shot, the Jeff Okudah at 3 could pick to be out, but it's not the fact that it was him, it's the fact that Bob Quinn chose him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The fact that just didn't help. So, yeah, I'm looking for best possible player that's going to be here. I don't care who you drafted to. If that guy's here when we're playing meaningful playoff games and playing playoff games. So if that's a safety, if that's what this organization deems moving forward in this NFL, then I'm all in on it. Right? It's trusting. It's all about your organization and the draft capital and the job that they're going to do, and that's where it comes down to. So, yeah, it comes down to if you do not like, and it also comes down to what options do you have. Just because you want to trade doesn't mean you can. You need a partner.
You need somebody else that wants to do it too.
Somebody, and here's the thing. Let's just wait for the combine. Right? Because in the combine, somebody's going to do something that's going to blow somebody out,
right,
and somebody's got to have somebody, right? And you just hope you're sitting there when that team has to have that player. Maybe it is after it's Thibodeau or it's Hutchinson after the combine. Maybe it's one of these quarterbacks. Who knows? But we know after the combine, there's going to be some new soup. There's going to be some new sauce. There's going to be something.
A new shiny toy.
New shiny toy. And then we can look at that to see, what we hear. The one thing that, and I didn't, really realize this, but I think I'm more confident too these days, is that misinformation out of Allen Park, out of the Lions management. Yeah, we like this guy. But do they really like that guy? We don't like this guy. That's playing the GM game, right? That's not doing the non-GM game in having the 3rd overall pick which you have draft capital, and then you sign a backup the day before the draft. The dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and again, everybody get ready, too, because that quarterback's going to be very much in play with 32 or 34. I'm telling you guys, I know nobody wants to hear it. I know I get beat, Sawyer. I get beat up every day I bring this up, do I not?
Yeah, you do.
Every single day, every single time. No, Neal, there is no quarterback. All these quarterbacks stink. Guys, just wait. It has less to, it's a contract-driven thing. It's a discount-to-market thing, man. That's the way that it works. If you have a quarterback that you think is there's a remote chance that you can develop him or he can be good, you're going to take him because he's $2 million a year for 6 years.
Not even that. It's just what position goes off the board. Like which one in the first round, whether it's quarterbacks.
Where's the run?
Where's the run? Because the run is there, right? The run is there. It's like drinking water in Mexico. The run will be there.
Yeah, and that's where it is too. And I think that our draft thoughts get clouded a lot because of the fantasyization of sports, fantasy draftization of sports. Like we think that real drafts are like fantasy drafts where you plug in. You don't want to take one of those quarterbacks, so you just wait till the fourth round to take a quarterback, and then instantly that quarterback's going to pay off. So that's why you want to do that theory, despite the fact that in real drafts, the data overwhelmingly suggests if you don't take a quarterback within the first 34 picks, they're not going to work. Like that, there's just overwhelming data to that. But people think because fantasy drafts and real life drafts are the same, they think, well, I can just go take Matt Stafford in the 5th round and get points, and that's the way it'll work, which certainly it's not. But with all that being said, if there's a chance and the quarterback's there and he's going to be $2 million a year for 5 or 6 years, they're going to take a swing. If they feel that they like, and remember, they worked with all these guys down at the Senior Bowl. Remember that, guys. That's not nothing, as they would say in the streets of New York. That's not nothing.
What are we just talking about? Going down and watching the Wings, giving the eyeball test last night, right? Practice and having guys around, having a conversation, watching a guy work in practice, seeing what he's all about. That goes a long way.
Yeah, that's not nothing. I'm just going to say it.
Nothing.
I'm just going to say it like that. We're gonna talk about the game day though in Detroit because I have some thoughts, and it's something that I kind of hold dear. Like I said, I went downtown with my sons last night and everything like that. There's some certain rituals that we do. So we'll talk about that, the game day experience in Detroit, where it stacks up with the rest of the country. But let me tell you what experience is the very best in its field. That's Planet Fitness, everyone. Home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month for access to your home club. They also have a black card option as well, just $22.99 a month. And listen to this, unlimited use of the hydro massage, the massage chairs, total body enhancement, all the tanning as well, and you get access to over 2,000 locations worldwide. And oh, by the way, unlimited guest privileges. Also, you can join in club if you want. You're going to pass a couple on your way home from work today. Pull into the park. If you've been thinking about doing it, guys, I'm telling you, do it. Roll in there. It's not a huge investment. Roll in there, and you'll enjoy your experience, man. All I can say is that I do. Right here, Maple Road. Matt, all the guys in there, they're goated on the sticks, as my kids would say. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There's one open in Midtown Detroit at the Pistons Performance Center. Right now, $0 down, $10 a month. Planet Fitness, where your fitness, D-Mac,
is essential.
Your fitness is essential. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, T-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sawyer, we got Sam Flannel. Sam Flannel on brand here today. Somebody asked a question. Whose wardrobe were you ripping off, Sam Flannel? And they gave a couple of choices, but one of them wasn't Debo. And you're ripping off Debo's wardrobe, right?
I mean,
Debo.
Honestly, if it were anybody whose wardrobe I'd be ripping off, which I'm not ripping off anybody's, it would be Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam.
Okay.
It's true. I can see it. No,
I remember
absolutely.
it now. I remember it now. What did
Sam the Flannel Vetter?
There it is.
The Shredder Vetter.
Somebody said Mick Foley was one of your choices, one of your role models.
That's a good one too. That's a.
What about the Mick? Uncle Mickey Redmond. He's always got the flannel on.
Yeah. So again, getting excited about the draft capital. Don't forget, we'll have lots of coverage for you draft week. We will be out somewhere broadcasting. I don't care where it is. It could be on the surface of the moon. I'm going to be on that show, and I don't care.
That's always exciting.
Yeah.
We you weren't there last year. We were down in Greek Town and stuff like that.
Okay.
It was exciting when Ruhl got drafted because everybody was excited. And then Maz didn't like who the Giants picked, so we were all happy at that too because Maz was sad.
Detroit Dabber 313, Mickey's flannel game is legendary. And Sam Flannel, he's not proclaiming to be on that level. There's no question about it. I like when you do the blue one because it is like Debo.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I need to tuck my chain in when you come in here with the blue flannel.
Hey, it's one of my favorites too, and it's honestly one of my fiance's favorites. She says it brings out my eyes, so.
Oh, no. Okay, Sam Flannel, there you go.
That's her words, not mine.
All right, we'll move on from that. Is Detroit one of the best game day cities? And that's a loaded question to me because I feel as though the teams in winning and all that stuff certainly play into it. But I would say this, that it is, because I love going downtown, D-Mac. I do. I love it. Now, last night, it was kind of a last-minute thing, so it didn't line up where I could slide down there for dinner and do all that bit. But still, it certainly was a lot of fun. I love going down there for dinner, having a couple pops. And the list came out on Twitter, the numbers of bars and breweries within 1 mile of each NFL stadium. Ford Field is third, by the way. And I think that, for me, and I think I've told you guys before, I live up Washington Township, Romeo area. So when the Pistons moved from the Palace downtown, the Palace was a 15-minute drive down some dirt roads and stuff like that for me. But with Comerica Park, when it opened downtown, even then, I preferred going to Comerica Park more than the Palace. And while the Palace was great, and it was a great building, I mean, it withstood the test of time. They did everything necessary to keep it rolling down there. It was great. There was nothing there. There was like the Post Bar across the street, and that was it. I really, D-Mac, even when the teams stink, I really enjoy when I got the calendar cleared and I'm going down to a game, a Tigers game, a Red Wings game, a Pistons game. I do enjoy going downtown. Now, I've done it a couple of other cities where I went to a Lightning game one time. Down there in Tampa,
in the
district.
Oh yeah,
Columbus does a good job too.
What do they call it down in? It's like the Beltway or where they had the parade where they showed Tampa on the jet skis and the boat and stuff. But it's there's a bowling alley down there. There's restaurants and stuff. To the point of what we're Brandon Justice. I always said that we got all the 14 sports teams down there, right? All within walking distance of each other, and there's so much around down there. Wait till these teams start getting good.
Right.
In the nice and afternoon. Tell me, I always loved it, and even back when it was Joe Louis or whatever like that, but the Tigers afternoon baseball game and then a playoff hockey game at night. The way that you can double dip and catch two major sports in one day.
That's fun.
That's a blast. And there's so many great spots downtown to go no matter what it is. And I just think that the city's got so much to offer when these teams start getting good. I mean, that's the whole thing. How exciting does that be as Woodward Sports? And you're just pinwheeling from venue to venue because everybody's good. Everybody wants to be down there. Now, there's so many great, think off the top of my head, so many great spots to go. The Del Mar's where we had the draft party last year.
Yeah. Brass rails
we're at
down
the Brass
there.
Rail a lot. We're at the Tin Roof a lot.
I like hanging out at the Detroiter.
Listen, if you haven't been to the Hockeytown Cafe just to walk around in that to see the memorabilia and stuff like this, the Detroiter's great. Even Coney's down there. Then you got even down more the Greek Town of the Detroiter.
Yeah. Old Shillelagh.
You got the Shillelagh, then you get into Greektown and stuff like this. You can go. I didn't even mention down towards even Old Tiger Stadium where you got Nemo's and you got Casey's and you got different, places like that. There's so many places to go, and that's not even just downtown to walk and do it. And that was even from LCA to Comerica Park and stuff like this, or Tiger Stadium or whatever. Now everything's sort of in the general area, and you get caught in sort of like the little vortex. It's sort of like a little bit of a bubble to walk around. And they do a good job. There's nothing like a afternoon game down at the ballpark or opening day on a nice day. Like a nice day and a nice Detroit Red Wings playoff hockey, not this year and the next year when it's being a nice day and walking around downtown and hanging out. It's going to be great.
No, it is. And it is. I think it is a great game day experience. If people talking about Machiavelli sucks to go, Kansas City's out in the middle of nowhere as well. And I can't understand that. I had a great time when I went to the Lightning game down in Tampa where – and that's weather related, right? Like the bars don't have doors, or when it's just like an open walk, you could just walk right in, anywhere around, and that's weather related. We can't have that here during the wintertime. But, I've been to a couple of Marlins games. There was a stretch where I went to more Marlins games than Tigers games for a 2-year stretch. I told you about that. There's nothing going on around there. Like their city is like, they just built this stadium in like the middle of, like it's in the middle of the city, but there's like nothing around. It's really weird how they did it. And, for me, like I said, Columbus is really, really cool also. They got their district downtown. I honestly believe this, man, and I've been a couple places, I think the Detroit game day experience, be it Red Wings, Pistons, Tigers, the NFL's different because every stadium is like that. And somebody in our YouTube chat thread talked about the fact that I'm surprised that Green Bay has so few. There literally are. And we play Wisconsin Green Bay, and they play in the Resch Center, which is right next door to Lambeau Field. So we're right there in the middle of downtown. There are literally only like 3 bars.
But isn't
3 or
it
4
because
bars.
The tailgate is so prominent?
And that's the rub, right? That's why the NFL thing doesn't really apply, I think, because they're all self-contained parties. I would guess Buffalo is out in the middle of nowhere. That would be my guess, but again, they seem to do okay.
Those are self-contained parties. I even know that.
Most people are
James
animals.
In Tampa, like the pregame party across the roads or whatever, everybody just goes and sets up. They're not even looking for the bar.
They don't care.
It's almost like a NASCAR. The NFL and NASCAR tailgate stuff.
Doesn't matter
that.
where the stadium is. They're going to figure it out. But, I mean, it's just
We're
for
here.
me.
Let's go. We're here. We got beer.
Yeah, let's go. But, I mean, for me, it's just one of those things where I can't see there being much better of a setup. I mean, for me, the weather is the only detractor here in Detroit. The number of establishments, the walkability of it all, and contrary to what people think, we don't have a parking problem in Detroit for game days. You have a walking problem. Like people, you don't want to walk, or you don't want to park somewhere and take the people mover over, or things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that complain about parking and the parking prices, look into it, guys. There's ways around that.
Right. And then that's also too is that. But now, Neal, it's really not that hard to walk, right? And we didn't even mention you got 3 casinos downtown too. Right. 2 of them which are in walking distance to everything else. So it affords people the availability to do what they want either before or after, or making an event. How many people make that weekend or whatever, the Pistons game or a Red Wing game or a baseball game or a football game or whatever, and come down for the weekend because there's so much to do. I got a lot of friends that do that, from up north, come in to the casino for the night or whatever like this and spend the day down in Detroit. I mean, they're telling me places I'd never even been to or heard of. I was like, where's that? Is that new? Yeah, it's been here about 40 years. It's like,
that's what it is. There's such a variety, I think, of different, like I like Grand Trunk.
I like Grand Trunk too.
But that was from a job that I had that I worked downtown where
Grand Trunk, I'm going to say 2011, St. Patty's Day, started there.
Yeah.
At about 7 in the morning. It was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Trunk is a cool architecture. Like if you're into all that.
Oh, yeah.
That there's that as well. My wife likes that kind of stuff. So we'll slide through there and have a Bloody Mary, ask for some Gypsy by name, like Sawyer would do. But no, it's a lot of fun. Cody says maybe if the Illich family ever finishes the district around the area, the arenas will be great for game day.
Oh, we still got that.
Yeah. Well, I already contend that it is.
Yeah. It's not what was promised, but it could get better with everything around there. So you think everything goes from LCA down towards the Fox if you had things that moved up a little bit north to walk around and stuff, and it's coming along. It's coming along with Wayne State and different things downtown. So you could see it. You could see it eventually. So I think they don't want to jump the gun. They want it to be when the teams are all going to be good at the same time. So 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe baseball will be back then.
Harley Fife says, I think Comerica Park is one of the best baseball stadiums. There's no bad seats in the house at all. And that begs a question for me. And I'm a big Tiger Stadium guy. And it's not even because of the baseball. I think I get caught up in the Tiger Stadium nostalgia like everybody else, and my dad taking to me my first game and catching a ball with my dad at the game. And, as I got older and got my driver's license, kind of don't my son's in the studio a little bit later on, don't listen to this, but skipped school and drove down to opening day, and that started a run. That started a run of my consecutive opening day streak got up to like 22. Throughout those times. So, it was a good run. It was a lot of fun. I think, though, we're past that point. Maybe not. Maybe I'll get grilled for this. I don't know. I'm with you, Harley. I really, really like Comerica Park. And I know that there's a lot of detractors to that, and it will never, quote, be Tiger Stadium, end quote.
I like Comerica.
I do, too.
And so many great spots to watch the game.
It was time.
Oh, absolutely.
It was time.
I like what they did. I'm glad that they did something to where Tiger Stadium was, and now they could play baseball games there and developed it into something because it has the nostalgia there. That's fine, but it was time. I mean, come on, it was. Yeah. It was old, and it's the same thing as we're talking about with Joe Louis Arena. We were talking about this last night. It's like, Joe Louis Arena was perfect for what age we went through it at. But now that I'm almost 50, I want the luxury of LCA. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? And we deserve it. So the fact that hopefully all four teams will be good, and I believe that they will be. We'll be sitting here going, okay, imagine you got 3 or 4 teams in the playoffs.
Be a lot of fun, man.
Stuff because think of the weather.
No, it will.
Think of, and I agree. If they build it, they will come. Then if they fix the roads too on the way down, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, absolutely.
Crazy.
It's crazy when Sawyer walks into the Fulling warehouse. I know that.
Oh, yeah. It's
It's crazy if he has a 5 on him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I walk in.
Singles.
You already know what I'm looking for. Looking for that mystery beer machine. I go in there, put my $2 in, get me a nice mystery beer out, and then my day has started. I'm having fun, And the Fulling Warehouse, you can show up, pay $10, unlimited play from open to closed. You can throw until your arm gets sore, throw until you don't want to play anymore, throw until you just want to watch TV because they have so many TVs in the warehouse. You're not struggling to find something to watch. I mean, now that football season's over, they're going to have all the other sports on there, NASCAR on Sundays, all the good stuff, basketball, March Madness is coming, so you can go to the Fulling Warehouse and watch that. And if you're going with a big group, don't worry about it. You can call ahead, reserve a private lane for up to 10 people for 2 hours, around $120. So it's real easy, real convenient, and you're going to want to hop on that if you're going for a weekend. I know it gets real busy down there. So taking advantage of that private reservation is definitely the move. It's a major key, as DJ Collie would say, or it's a pro gamer move, as Neal would say. So you got to take advantage of that. And if you don't want to do the mystery beer machine, they have over 100 beers to choose from. So you're like a kid in a candy store there. I mean, it's going to be a hard decision. That's why I like the mystery beer machine. It just makes the decision for you. But if you can take on that responsibility of picking one of their 100 beers, more power to you. Just go for it. I mean, and you don't have to pay for the overpriced bar food as well. You can Uber Eats food. You can bring your own food in, have a pizza delivered, bring some Jersey Mikes in. I don't know, whatever you're feeling that day, they'll let you have it there. It's such a good time, such a party. I mean, you guys got to check it out. Go to thefullingwarehouse.com. I know Sam didn't hear that one, so I'll say it again for him. Go to thefullingwarehouse.com, Sam. Super easy to find. Throw it up there in your web browser. It'll come right up. Make your reservation, and you're there. Or just show up in person at the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. We'll be right back after these messages right here on the Woodward Sports Network. This is Big D Energy.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets, daily on Woodward Sports.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show. Going to talk Red Wings in about 10 minutes. The recap, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. And I told you guys this was coming if a certain outcome happened, and I was disheartened a little bit. I'm not saying pull the plug on everything. I'm not saying fire Yzerman, none of that stuff, guys. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. We'll discuss coming up in about 10 minutes. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty here in the house. We got Sam Flannel. He's on brand here today. Day number 4 of 365 consecutive days of flannel. We have Sawyer in the house as well. Detroit Dabber, by the way, was the first one into the YouTube chat thread, as always. So speaking of being on brand, he was on brand as well. Tammy Chin, Harry's is the best hole-in-the-wall bar near Little Caesars Arena. I do like Harry's. I don't go there as much as I should, but I do like that. You know what else I like? I like the Elwood. And I know, like, yeah, you know, I do. And I don't know why I like it so much.
You talk about Bloody Mary, Sweetwater Tavern. You have the Bloody Mary down there? It's a meal. It's a meal. You get, like, the whole left side of the buffet menu in that drink. I do remember that.
And the wings, too. I know, look, a lot of Wing Elite people say that they're overrated. They are not overrated. They got great wings down there. That's another place I don't go to as much as I should. But it's smaller, though, and it's always packed.
And it's always packed. That's a lot of the little dive spots downtown. They're smaller, and that's the one thing is you got to find your spot out, because the better these teams get, the more people downtown. They're not that big, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's all timing and stuff like that. But
Machiavelli Sucks to Go says no Tiger Stadium. And look, I knew I was going to take blowback from it, and I'm as Tiger Stadium as anybody gets. It means a lot to me sentimentally, personally, my relationship with my dad and stuff like that. It means a lot to me. It does. But Comerica's a better venue for baseball, man. It is. It is. Tammy Chin talked about sitting behind the beams out there.
Yeah, we all did. That was Olympia. And if you ever been to Olympia Tiger Stadium, it was like, oh, seat. Hanging behind the beam. That's not a bad seat, America.
DMAP Zoom says, sorry I haven't commented much. I've been playing Cruise and Blast while listening to the stream. Can we go to Sawyer? Cruise and Blast. What do we got on that?
Looked it up. It's a Nintendo Switch game. It's looks like a high intense extreme racing game. You know, arcadey style. Looks
Do you get
cool.
to shoot people? Like is it like Rocket League or something?
I don't know.
Cruise and Blast. Like is he got guns on his car?
Yeah, I mean the cover art has like a Corvette and a Camaro that are all souped up looking. So I'm assuming there's some explosion
action. You want to pull your
action.
steering wheel out right there?
Yeah, I don't know.
You might have to.
Maybe
Oh, by the
connect to my
way, yeah.
Switch.
Where are we at with that? With Sawyer on Twitter? How many followers you got? Have we got to 100 yet?
No. I checked like 2 days ago and it was like 86, I think.
All right. Let's wrap up this YouTube poll. What Lions draft pick are you most excited for? Pick number 2 or pick number 32? Pick number 32, 57% of the vote. Yeah, there's some intrigue to it. There is no doubt about that. That went about the way that we thought it would. Follow Sawyer on Twitter, by the way. Get him to 100 because I just want to see him tweet a picture of his video game racing setup. He's got the steering wheel, the gas pedal, all of it. You said you'll put on a helmet for the picture, too?
Yeah, I can. We got one at the house.
Of course you do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Dad works in the automotive industry, worked at the proving grounds, so you got to have a crash helmet around.
On brand, man.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly on brand. NASCAR back at it this week?
Oh, yeah, in California. It's going to be a good one.
One of the things, how about this, too, is talking about this big picture about different sporting events, but isn't there, to Sawyer's wheelhouse, an F1 event, isn't the Russian Grand Prix supposed to be coming up in the next month or stuff like this? And I just read something that
the Champions League final is supposed to be in Russia, too.
Well, just the fact that there hasn't been something done, but I see Vettel, one of the racers, Sebastian Vettel, had said, well, I think I know what my decision is. So guys are going to be making their decision. And this is the reality of it, right? I guess in life is when the virus and the COVID and there's decisions to make on the health and playing and stuff like that, and people made decisions. Right here, this goes to show you the severity of what's going on when it comes down to Russia invading Ukraine and the repercussions it has all over the world, because to me, when people know what the reactions or the cancel right away, that tells me more of the severity and
right,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
That is true.
So
It's sobering, isn't it?
It's sobering, the severity of not, and even to it leads me back to the conversation we had the other day about the viewership in the Olympics. I don't watch the Olympics, and it was like you didn't even go, and it was China and all this and that, but then to the fact that we still entertain the fact of watching that, it was China, we say this, but this is the reality of it, right? The reality of life, that the realism that we're seeing. So to me, that's very sobering, the fact that it not only affects, but you have the athletes coming out going, well, we know that ain't happening, or we're not going right away. Away. No, it's an automatic no. So
yeah, but we've been talking about the game day experience in Detroit. I mean, across the board, every team that's included, and I dig it, man. And I put it up there with anybody. I really do. And I know the reputation that Detroit gets and stuff like that. Detroit's great, man. It for a game day experience, it's great, and the buzz and all the different spots you can go to and everything like that. I really, really enjoy going downtown. I mean, we went last week too. Our family went down to see The Lion King at the Opera House.
Well, how was that?
It was a good time, man. It was along the same lines, right? Like the buzz, the energy, all that kind of stuff.
How was the production?
The production was cool, man. Like the costumes and everything that they were able to pull off, and it was big time.
Lying. Like, let's get it like Disney and The Lion King grow up on stuff like this. But I mean, was it one of these things that you're because I like Broadway or musicals or plays, and certain
it's more my wife's scene than it is my scene.
But was it one of these honeydew things that you did that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I did enjoy it though. Yeah, I like the circumstance.
I'm not saying that you're going, hey guys, I got tickets front row to The Lion King. No. We know that you were doing that for diplomatic reasons, but it's also
reasons.
Also understand that it can be enjoyed.
No, and it was, and I did enjoy it, and I do like that. The high level stuff like that, I enjoy. It's good. And I forget the character's name in it. One of the ladies that was in that was absolutely incredible. She was high level. She certainly was. Tammy Chin says Tiger Stadium is great unless you had a seat behind the beam. As we talked about earlier. Detroit Dabber 313. Sweetwater wings are fire. And I remember taking the People Mover to the Joe, getting a couple Molson Triple X in you before they sold craft beer everywhere, and the trough in the bathroom.
The trough.
Kobo Joe's was getting a lot of love.
Kobo Joe's, yeah, exactly. The post would always be so slammed that if to go over to Kobo Joe's, couldn't get to the bar.
Yeah, and Elwood getting some love as well. But it's something where I think that Detroit probably does get shortchanged, just in terms of the experience of the game day. Because again, I've been a couple places. I'll put it up there against anywhere, and there are a lot of spots and a lot of places that are just kind of out there on their own, and there's no vibe to it. And even last night, like, you felt the vibe, and I think that the hope with the Red Wings certainly is something that plays into that as well. And I think, D-Mac, even as a city, like as a sports fan base, I think we're starting to feel that a little bit. At least that's the vibe that I get. That's a vibe I get from a lot of you.
I had a vibe in that building that everybody was there watching it like I was last night. Like, this was like one of the, like, we were watching to see, okay, where are we at? Right? It wasn't like this overconfidence. It was just something that we understood. I think looking around and talking to people and seeing the excitement of what's to come, but understanding it's not here yet. Right? So it's all a part of the journey. And I think walking out of that game was we were all like, okay, well, yeah, Colorado, that's why they're talking about them in the Western Conference, and that's that good team. But we could be that team. That could be us in a few years. Right? And we could be getting talked about just like they are. So I guess sometimes that reality check, and you know what? It's almost, it's an analogy that you're playing well, and maybe you're dominating the varsity, and then you go up and you play, AAIU or whatever with all the top guys, and you realize that, okay, there's guys that are, everybody's as good as you are. Right?
Right.
So you need to know, sometimes you need to know what you want, where you need to get to. And
sure.
To me, that's the mirror. But to your point, find out. So here's the key, like I always tell everybody, Find your spots at these buildings where you want to cheer championships because they're not here yet. Also, too, find the spots you want to pregame or postgame to meet your friends downtown. You know, there's so many spots. Find a spot. Find a new, like you said, where to park. Park in the cheapest. Like I know people, and trust me, my go-to is that I'm fortunate enough that I get to park down there and whatever
right.
walk.
You just show up and park. Yeah.
Right. And if I do, as it should be.
Win 4 Stanley Cups, you get to park where you want.
Like the least they could do. But the other one is to park at the free parking at the casinos and walk over, which gets you walking over. Or I know a lot of people that find downtown parking, like find on the street.
I did last night.
On the street parking, it's still down there. So what I'm saying is use this time now before you got to scramble down there to find where to get your pregame, parking, and burger.
Absolutely. We come back. We're going to talk Red Wings. We're going to do a deeper dive into that game last night. My son will join the show coming up in just a little bit as well. That should be fun. He'll want to talk baseball. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't want to. But I do want to talk to you about the Sports Marketing Agency, SMA. They've been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Coming soon to Woodward Sports, a sports marketing agency podcast. This is the F Word, a series on fentanyl. And remember, if you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com to learn more and be on the lookout for their podcast coming soon to Woodward Sports. This is the F Word, a series on fentanyl. It's a sports marketing agency.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Neal Ruhl for Chili Peppers Tanning. It's where you find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized room, trained and certified tanning professionals. And you can join the Pepper Club. They'll beat all competitors' deals by at least $5. They got the brand names too: Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, Swedish Beauty Lotions as well. Chili Peppers Tanning. They got the hottest bulbs, the darkest tans. They are your vitamin D headquarters. Check them out online at chilipepperstanning.com. 26 locations and more on the way. We were out there in Berkeley for their grand opening on Monday, so no matter where you go around here, there's a Chili Peppers Tanning close by. You know what it is? Spring break season's warming up. I know Sawyer's got to go in there. He's got to get the base going for those trips to Florida and Daytona and wherever it is he goes down there to get it in. Be like Sawyer. Go to Chili Peppers Tanning, 26 locations around Detroit. Welcome back to the show. Getting deep here into the second hour. My son will join us coming up in the next segment, and we'll talk about sports through the eyes of a 14-year-old. It's a pretty interesting discussion. He's got some takes on some stuff, too. He's on midwinter break from school, so he came to work with Dad today. So we'll throw him in the chair and see what he's got to offer, right, D-Mac?
Absolutely.
Talk some wrestling. He's got his WrestleMania shirt on. He's ready to go, man.
I like it. I've seen that.
Absolutely. Red Wings.
WrestleMania 6, too.
Red Wings yesterday, 5-2. They lost to Colorado. And D-Mac, allow me to go ahead and jump in, kind of give my breakdown of the game. And I told you guys this was coming, good, bad, or indifferent. And it was one of those games for me. And it was the first time that I really tapped in to see what we were dealing with ever since the Bruins game back in January, where that was the day for me that the playoff music died, was when they lost to Boston in the fashion that they lost to them, parlayed with the fact that, Boston had like 5 games in hand and a 10-point lead and all that stuff. But yesterday, D-Mac, I'm not mad. I'm not saying burn it down. I'm not saying it's over. I'm not saying they sucked. So just park that one at the door, all right? They were dominated. And in that first period of the game, I was blown away by how much better Colorado was. And that's without McKinnon out there on the ice. And I know Larkin was banged up and stuff like that, but he was out there, D-Mac. And this is the rub, guys. Like, when you're starting to get to this level and you're starting to turn this corner, if you're out there, you're playing. And if you're playing, you better play well. Yep. Like, that's it. So this is going to sound harsh, but it's not. It's more disappointment. Colorado dominated that first period. And D-Mac, they dominated in the face-off circle. And really what struck me in that first period was the Red Wings' inability to get the puck to the middle of the ice. I mean, even when they got it, they spent the first 6 minutes in their own zone, where Colorado just looked ready to roll, even without McKinnon. And with that being said, D-Mac, what Colorado did to them defensively, they were never a threat in that first period. And that's when the game was won. I know they say you can't win the game in the first period, but when they got that 2-0 lead and in the fashion they got it, they, in effect, won that game, and Colorado was never seriously challenged after that.
What did you ask me at the beginning of the week about the commitment? When do you learn to play defense?
Right. Why does you struggle to defend?
Night, right, was the difference of a team that is destined to vie for a championship and a team that is destined to battle for a playoff spot eventually, right? Two different teams. But you mentioned it right there, Neal, and you saw it, right? Well, I said not only the speed and at the pace that they play, but also, too, their commitment to the defense and their commitment of what Colorado said is to keep the puck out of the middle, right? The Wings could control the puck. They could keep it to the outside, but I think what you saw was everything. You were like, why can't the Wings commit to this defense? Because the most important thing, and even without their captain and best player, Nathan McKinnon, what you saw in that Colorado team is a well-balanced team that plays a 60-minute game, right? What did they do? They held any of the shots and stuff like this, and there were some chances here and there, but nothing really from the outside. You know, you expect your goalie to do that. The Wings were skating around the outside,
just a
around
continual
the net,
cycle,
but it's
with nothing available,
but not getting anything accomplished, and then being able to capitalize on an opportunity or a power play or whatever like that. What you saw last year is a separation of 2 years in a team. But it's also what I saw is where the Red Wings could be in a couple of years, right? It could be that soon to be Colorado. But they're well coached and they play well together, right? Defensively, offensively, even, you know, some of their guys, they're led really well. You saw, you mentioned the guy, Nazem Kadri, who we known top-level guy from Toronto, and you mentioned it. How does this guy have all these goals and how he's playing? Well, you see it last night, right? You get the eyeball test that this team's for real, even without their best player. So they play a 60-minute game. You know, we're still trying to figure out how to attack that offensively, because you saw Colorado, what they did is to exploit defensively the Wings, especially early on. What you saw out of the gate is something inexperienced too. When you have a bit of a layoff, Colorado knew that Detroit had the layoff and they jumped on them early, right? I walked in the rink and I hear Gabriel Landeskog, their captain, scored and assisted by Darren Helm. So, you know, it was I was happy for Helmer. You know what I'm saying? Early on. And that's just, you're allowed to do that when you play with other guys or you have friends and whatever. When it's early for the first goal, you can be happy that they get a point on it because you need one to win anyways, right?
Sure.
So if they win 1-0, Helmer, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I justify it. But I thought right there, Neal, honestly, was what I expected to see, right? Obviously.
And I did too, D-Mac.
You know,
I did too.
But
it's just I think
it should be a
sobering.
Reality check.
Sobering is the word of the day, it seems like.
Yes.
And like through all the hype and all the hope and the stretches of good play that they've had, and again, all the cap space and all the rookie deals that they have that make you feel good, you did see last night really how far away you are. Because I think people, and there are still Red Wings in the playoffs, defenders and stuff like that, but you saw last night how wide that gap still is.
But
I'm talking about today.
Last night was a great check for yourself to know that the journey's there, that we're on our way. Like, we didn't embarrass ourselves, right? You could skate with them, right? They're just a better team. right now.
Yeah.
They have better players. They have better established players, right? Their bottom end guys are in the middle, right? Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah.
Your bottom end guys are up in the middle. We don't have that. Our good guys are good, so are theirs, but they're not good guys are good too.
Which is what made your guys' team.
Yes,
which is what made your guys' team good.
You see the whole thing of the consistency, and I know that Stevie is watching that going, okay, Joe's got it here. I can get it here. And he's looking at that team, well, I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I don't have that. So, Drapes, get out there and find me that guy.
Klomp Sauce says you got to keep in mind the Avs are coming off their worst loss of the season. Right, but that's my point. You know what I'm saying? That's my point where, okay.
And that shows you, okay, this Colorado team where you learn two things. Is this Colorado team for real, right? Was last year sort of the getting beat out and running into it? That was their sort of learning. To me, that like the Colorado team reminds me the most of the Red Wing team in like 95, 96, 97. This could be their year because did they learn from last year? It's the same thing as all these other teams. Tampa went through it when they lost to Columbus in the first round and came back to back. I mean, it's the way hockey works. So what I saw last night put a check mark in my mind is that, okay, let's see that. And the fact they bounced back, right? Good. That's what great teams do. Mm-hmm. That should have been, no wonder. Yesterday, minus 300. It was minus 300.
It was a minus 300
because
showing.
Because of that, too, right? Because they're upset, worst loss of the season, and come back out, and who better to do it against than your arch nemesis back in the day?
Yeah, Gromit0237 says lazy passes. And I will say this, there was nowhere else to go other than some of those lazy passes.
They frustrate you into, and then the inexperience is to give it away, and then they capitalize on it. Right, and then they capitalize on it, and we had opportunities, and the game wasn't out of hand. But
see, I felt like it was, D-Mac. Yes, well, I know everyone tried to get back into it and stuff, but I never felt they never felt threatened to me.
They weren't. No, they weren't threatened, but it's the NHL. There's always a threat, right? You weren't threatened. There's always a threat. That's why the team is closer than maybe you think that they are. But it's a tough haul, right? It's a tough haul. Tough to win in this league, no matter what.
And people were talking about, too, the one-on-one matchups that the Red Wings really seem to lose, a lot of the one-on-one matchups. Zadina's getting some criticism defensively, certainly what happened on the Colorado goal. But see, like, and here's where I'll defend him, is you are what you are as a player. And if you're looking, Zadina's not going to win a Selke Award during his time here with the Red Wings. You know, I got what I wanted out of Zadina last night, and I think recently I've gotten what I've wanted. Zadina, man, he does it where you're like, okay, and you kind of forget about him for a little bit, and then he dips, and you're like, man, I'm getting really concerned about Zadina. And then he has a run of a couple games. You're like, all right, I think Zadina's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's for me, I'm not going to come down that critical on him because, again, he's not a Selke Award winner. He's not going to do that. Like, he's a specialist, right? I know at some point you have to defend.
He's more of a specialist that needs to be put in that position now. Right. Now, what determines our championship teams is when your Zadinas can make a defensive play. And outstrike, right? When they make that play, that's the difference when you need it. I think that Charles McLean makes a great point, and him as a coach, commitment is the priority on the coach. He's always saying this: it's on the coach to keep teaching the commitment, and if not, put players in that will commit. Easy to say. That's when you get the championship team. Hence why Darren McCarty is on the ice for the last face-off. Before the buzzer goes to win the 97 Cup. You're not there yet. That's where Colorado is.
And speaking of that,
Blashill and Yzerman and this team is finding out and putting guys in the position because now is the time to crash and burn if you're going to crash and burn.
Yeah, and speaking of that, and I was talking with some of the fans around. By the way, those were all Darren McCarty's people, Sawyer, that I was sitting around.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I sent the picture to Sawyer. My guy in front of me right there. And it was autographed with every inscription. Every inscription that you did in your life.
I'm just telling people because that tells me, right? So I can look at a jersey and see when I signed it or look at the autograph and stuff like that. There's me and Uncle Joey and Dave Coulier and Jeff Daniels, great guys. Known them there's like 25 years and stuff like that. It's always great catching up with those guys. Just some video, just making sure, just walking by, making sure everybody's apropos. But to the jersey point, if you have a McCarty jersey that isn't signed, then now you get the full Monty.
Yeah.
What's the full Monty? Full Monty is that every stat that I could think of.
Yeah.
That I put it on there. So we take up all the room. But
those were your people, man.
It's
cool to watch you work the room.
I love it to see that, and it blows me away too when there's like a younger age person, because I got to say, where'd you get that? Where'd you learn from that? But that's what brings us all together. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. When we come back, my son will join the show. Cristiano Ruhl will be here in studio off of high school from midwinter break. So we'll talk with him. Darren has some wrestling questions for him. If you guys got questions for him too, feel free to fire away. Sawyer wants to know what it's like. Does he feel a lot of pressure standing in line at the grocery store while I scan all those items? And we'll talk about that as well. Because
embarrassing, Dad, embarrassing. But you know what's not embarrassing? When it's time to get those little hairs on your head cut. Football season isn't here, but that doesn't mean Lady Jane's isn't ready to take care of all your grooming needs, gentlemen. All you have to do is get to a Lady Jane's haircut near you. Walk in, sit down, before you know it, your hair is game ready. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Neal Ruhl, Sawyer, Sam Flannel, D-Mac. The debut of Cristiano Ruhl. When we come back, Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, joint.
It's Woodward Sports.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. That's D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel on brand. We got Sawyer as well, and right now joining the show. Going to have a little fun. You guys, we'll chop it up a little bit. My son is on a midwinter break from school, and I figured, hey, you come to work here today on Big D Energy with Dad, so we will welcome in my son, Cristiano Ruhl, joining the show here on Big D Energy. Got the WrestleMania 6 t-shirt on. Loves wrestling, loves football, loves gaming. So, I figured we'd have him on and chop it up. So, you guys do your wrestling bit, D-Mac. Go ahead, man.
You want me to start there?
Go ahead and start right there.
Let me start here. What did you're at the game last night, Red Wings game and stuff like that. I know. Who are your favorite players? I guess, and let's start here with the Detroit sports team. Like, which ones would you rank as far as what you follow, and who are your favorite players?
On the Red Wings, my favorite player is Tyler Bertuzzi.
Okay, that's why I got good common sense. So would you say you follow the Red Wings the most?
I follow the Lions the most out of Detroit sports.
Okay.
But I follow the Red Wings a decent amount.
So you're a Lions fan, so who do you like? Who are the Lions guys that you like?
I'm a big fan of Amon-Ra St. Brown, but my favorite Lions player has to be Amani Oruwariye.
Nice.
Thought he should have been in the Pro Bowl last year. He was heartbroken
hurt.
Yeah, he was heartbroken about that. Mike G in our YouTube chat thread says, Lil Rule Breaker, yo, yo, yo. Detroit Dabber 313. Neal, is this the one who's big into boiled apples? No, that's my middle son. That does it cooked apples. We talked about that. Scott Klinger, welcome, young man. Welcome. No, but it is good to have you here with us in studio, bud. You get to come to work with Dad here today. And we're going to get into the baseball stuff. We'll talk about the baseball stuff. We'll talk about the gaming stuff as well.
Speaking just before here, it is happy birthday to your guy, Tyler Bertuzzi. It is his birthday today.
That's true.
So that's apropos that you brought it up. But I'll dive right into the wrestling stuff. Who is your Now, are you a WWE guy? Are you an AEW guy? Are you a fan of wrestling? Do you care?
You guys may have some contention on this. I just want you to know.
Are you, like, that's what I'm going to say. Are you one versus the other?
Yeah.
You are.
I'm a fan of WWE.
So you. Now, what makes you not a fan of all wrestling and made you decide that you had to have a choice?
I just feel like AEW is a knockoff of people that got fired by WWE.
Okay. All right. So who's your favorite WWE wrestler?
Right now, probably AJ Styles or Finn Balor.
God, this kid's got some game in him.
He's got some depth, yeah.
He's got depth in him.
What do you think about that,
though? No. What do you
think about his AEW response?
I think that's what's wrong with because that's sort of like the society that you have to choose. Right, instead of just being a fan of wrestling, where it's not the, but you also see is where I could get in an argument of contention too. Is that you got to understand? Your dad talked about the Lion King. WWE is Vince McMahon's Broadway play. It's his production, right? He doesn't care, right? He's there to entertain himself. Whereas all the rest of wrestling, the storylines. See, I'm into storylines. So WWE they don't care about storylines, right? They care more about pop and stuff like this. My question to you, because AJ Styles and Finn Balor, they're more veteran wrestlers. They're two guys that I absolutely love, right? There's also, too, is Finn Balor's got the demon character, right? He's got a bunch of different things. You brought up Finn Balor, so I'm going to bring up NXT, right? Because I think we can both agree. Were you a fan of the black and gold brand NXT, the old version, or are you more of a fan of the NXT 2.0 version?
No, I hate 2.0. Black and gold.
Okay, so you know what? Absolutely, we agree 1,000,000%. Right? That's the joke. That's what makes WWE such a farce, in my opinion, is because they don't care. And what they're trying to do with NXT, right, is not the development of the old guys or whatever. What was wrong? What was wrong with the black and gold brand?
There was nothing wrong with the black and gold brand.
Do you know why? The black, and this is the point that you got to understand, and it's unfortunate being your age to realize that the business is a wrestling business, not a wrestling fandom, right? Because you look at what happened with Triple H and Vince McMahon looked at it as Triple H got beat by AEW, which wasn't the case because of the numbers, and it took it away from it, right? You know, where's the loyalty and all that too? So being older, I can see the disparity, G. But so let me ask you this. Do you like the Roman Reigns character? Do you like the tribal chief? Do you like this version?
I like his theme song. I think his character now is definitely better than whatever it was before.
Absolutely. We can agree this is the best version of Roman Reigns, right?
On the YouTube chat thread right now, it's very active. We'll say it like that. Quebec Daniela says, hello, young man. Mike G wants to know, what would Cristiano's finishing move be in wrestling? So think about that for a second. We'll come back to that. Pistons fan, like I told you, Cristiano, when you come on and you have opinions, people are going to give you the smoke. So Pistons fan 11 says you can't call Danielson a knockoff because the dude's at the top of his game. Your response to that?
I think the top of his game was 2014 with the Yes movement, but you can have your own opinions, I guess.
See, I think that's where you're wrong as far as the knockoff, as far as whatever else, because you see everybody that goes from WWE to AEW elevate character-wise, and you listen to them to what they want to do because they're not in the bubble. They're not scripted. They can create their own thing. It's a different world. It's more for, right? You wait and see when Danielson and Moxley put this, whatever they put together and stuff like this. Like, I don't know if you watch, and if you don't watch AEW, but the mic work, you know, MJF, the CM Punk.
See, and those are my, I've talked about it.
The Jericho last night and Eddie Kingston, you know, the realism of it, you can't get anything. That's the disparaging part. As far as the talent, the wrestlers, Drew McIntyre, I love the Scott, right? I love the Claymore. That's one of my favorite finishing moves, is when he does that. I just think what I don't like is the fact that that it doesn't matter what I want. I get what Vince wants to give me.
Yeah.
I get what he wants instead of the creative to that.
Vinny Bono on our YouTube chat thread says, I love this segment. Mike G also says Neal's finishing move would be the snooty elbow. So I'm sure that's there's something to that as well.
What would your finisher be?
Right now, when I do like wrestling, scripted wrestling, I use like Damian Priest Reckoning. I call it the crisscross.
Nice. I got the D-Max Stoner. It's like it's like a stunner, but I don't kick you. I'll punch you in the stomach and then I'll drop you down. Exactly. I like it. See, Damian Priest. There's another one, right? But here's the whole thing. Do you get frustrated by WWE though? The way that some of your guys, and you mentioned Finn Balor and you mentioned AJ Styles, two of the best workers out there, that the way that they're used.
Finn Balor's definitely getting wasted by WWE. AJ Styles, though, he's on a push. He might wrestle Edge at WrestleMania.
Saw that.
That would be a hell of a match.
Saw that. How about Cody Rhodes? Is he coming to WWE?
I think he is. I think Vince McMahon offered him millions of dollars to go there, so I think he'll go to WWE.
It seems to me that that's the big thing with guys staying. You know, getting offered. Kevin Owens got a big payday. Sami Zayn got a big payday, and guys that are staying and stuff like that. I think it makes it exciting. And then do you like the move just for the way that it shakes up the wrestling, or do you not see? Because to your point about AEW taking all the WWE knockoffs, doesn't that make Cody Rhodes a knockoff?
Well, he was there originally, so I wouldn't say that.
Okay. So what happens when MJF comes to WWE? Are you an MJF fan?
I like his mic work. His wrestling, not so much.
Really? Because he's actually a good wrestler. Any AEW guys you like? Any Impact guys you like?
Impact? I like Josh Alexander. He's not there anymore.
The walking weapon. Wow.
You guys are going pretty high level right here.
Well,
I will say that.
Impact is actually probably, if you follow it, one of the best storyline continuations, and that's the one that Rhino, the Trey Miguel's, the local guys, the Perminator, Sam Beal, a lot of the local guys that wrestle around here in IWR are on Impact.
Yeah, they did a Ring of Honor takeover storyline. It came to a head that last weekend. Honor No More beat Team Impact, so they get to stay.
Saw that, and Eddie Edwards, who, here you go, the face or one of the company men, baby faces, just turned on the company.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff going on. Do you follow any of the independent wrestling scene or at all?
I like GCW a lot.
Okay. Who you like out of there? Because there's a lot of these guys. Like I'm going to, I'll be in Chicago on Saturday for the RPW, ICW. So a lot of those GCW guys will show up and do that. Is there any guys specifically? Because you know that they got a GCW event coming down to Harpo's the end of April.
Nick Gage and RSP.
Yeah, RSP. Got to meet
Sawyer,
RSP, and RSP's not doing the
so
death
high
back
level
Ricky
right
Shane
here.
Page. Great dude.
This is radio for two right here.
Great dude. And then the fact the like you said, Nick Gage, who is the MDK Deathmatch King, stuff like that. So that's good.
Hey,
I got. Yeah. No, I mean, hey, you guys are nice. It feels like my birthday. Somebody actually talk wrestling and stuff like this. I don't agree. I will not agree. Right? We can agree to disagree. I think it's a little harsh about you saying that the AEW is a retread ground.
Hey, when you do this business, you got to have strong takes, D-Mac.
But no, I'm giving him his flowers. But we are lockstep on NXT because NXT War Games. If you're gonna watch go watch War Games. That's all I got.
I watched War Games. They had a great match with Black and Gold versus 2.0.
Real quickly, Christian, before we get to the break here, Scott wants to know who do you think will win the belt, Roman Reigns versus the Beast Brock Lesnar? How do you think that'll work out?
Well, they can either put Roman Reigns over by having him beat the Beast and cementing it as an unstoppable force, or they could admit that Roman Reigns has run his run, give it to the Beast Brock Lesnar, and have him carried on from there.
They just got to get Matt Riddle involved, bro. That's who they got to have out there. The ultimate
original
bro.
plan was for Riddle to win the Royal Rumble, but they scrapped that.
I know, that broke my heart when you told me that story.
Well, here's the whole thing, too, right? It doesn't matter because everything in WWE gets scrapped last minute to whatever changes and stuff like that. And that's what, you know what? Unfortunately, follow the bag because these guys are all getting paid well, so then they'll suck it up and accept it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you something that won't get scrapped. That's Cintron World, because it's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. It's the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. You see their ad right behind the goal there on Red Wings game day on the boards down at LCA. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and of course, great taste, Cintron is the top choice. You can buy online at CintronWorld.com. With the promo code RedWings10, you get to save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Comerica Park, sunshine, the crack of the bat. More sunshine, warmth. We're almost there, Detroit. Summer 2022 will be the summer of Woodward sports. We just gotta make it through this damn cold first.
Coming up the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. We got D-Mac, Darren McCurdy. We got Sam Flannel on Bram. We got Sawyer as well. He's getting some laughs there in the production room. My son, Cristiano Ruhl, joining the show here today as well. He's on midwinter break from school. So he pulled up on us here at our Woodward Sports studio talking wrestling. I do want to talk about this with him too. And, you know, I'm a baseball fan. D-Mac's a baseball fan. We like baseball. That's the way it is. And I know that they're locked into their little labor strife right now, and opening day is not going to happen from what it sounds like, and they're going to go back and forth, and then in the end, they'll get it figured out. Baseball probably starts sometime in May. But I wanted to ask him about this and really get you guys to understand the fabric. Cristiano, when you were a little kid, you liked baseball. Like, we go out in the backyard and pitch you the ball and hit the ball and stuff like that. Now you don't like baseball at all. Why? What changed?
I grew up and realized how boring it is.
So speed of the game?
Yeah.
So speed of the game. So again, in a society that is now, or whatever else, as opposed to, like, what would you say is the opposite sport that you enjoy other than baseball? Is baseball's boring, but what other sport that you do isn't?
Football.
See, why is football not boring to you?
Because it's faster paced. There's a lot of action in it. Balls flying through the air.
And then hockey, you've kind of turned on to hockey as of late as well. You're into the Red Wings, like you like hockey. Obviously, we were at the game last night. But do your friends like baseball at all?
A few of them like baseball.
But you guys don't talk about, hey, let's go outside, let's go play. You got three guys. What would we used to play? You know what I mean? When one guy would shag flies, and you catch a pop fly, catch a line drive, catch a ground ball, the point game, whatever. Right. Like all the different hot box.
They play football all the time, like on the side of the house in the backyard. The neighborhood kid, like they'll go outside, and then 10 minutes later, I'll look in the backyard, and like half the neighborhood kids are over playing football in the backyard.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's sort of a good sign. We complain that they're always on the computers, they're always, on the game and stuff. But if they go outside, but to your point, Neal, where maybe we were more drawn to basketball or baseball, they're more drawn to football.
Yeah, and Mike says Maz is freaking out right now in his car on his way into the studio. But this is what it is, though, guys. Like, this is baseball. This is the future fan base of baseball. and he's disinterested in the game,
Hey,
and it doesn't move.
Somebody says Cristiano's got that Chet Holmgren vibe going. I would say he's got the Hook vibe going.
Yeah. He does. I mean, yeah,
he's got the Hook vibe, but you know what?
He's tall and lanky.
But and Hook's not a retread at AEW. He's a creation. So
no, but
sending Hook.
Yeah. Well, what about this? Detroit Dyson says this, Cristiano. He says, Detroit baseball teaches you patience, young man.
I guess.
but that's more telling to right. Do you care when baseball starts? Do you know? Are you gonna lose sleep that if opening day doesn't start when it usually does?
No, I mean going to opening day is cool. I'd do it, but I'm not gonna lose any sleep if it gets canceled.
But it's more of an event to go because of opening day than it is to go see who's pitching. You don't care.
No, I don't care.
No, that's the reality of it.
All right, what about this? This has become a very interactive segment here as my son Cristiano Ruhl joins the show. Cap City Sports Friend says Cristiano says bussin', no cap for real, I bet.
No, I do not.
All right, what about...
We got the young slang, we got the old slang. Holy cow.
All right, Sawyer.
Golly gee willikers, Sawyer. What do you say that?
In the frat house, what's the vernacular like in the frat house these days?
I mean, we weren't saying busting no cap for real, but there's some no caps, some for reals going around. Slaps made its way through, like that slaps.
Yeah.
Fire.
Are you guys
dank,
on? You guys
truth.
say that stuff slaps these days?
No.
What do you guys say? Is Sawyer a boomer to you?
No. People my age say no cap. No one says bussin'.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is Sawyer like a boom? Do you perceive Sawyer to be a boomer?
No.
No? Because he's just fresh out of the frat house, at Butler. Yeah. Oh, Cristiano did have something that he wanted to say to you, Sawyer. When I was telling him about you, that you're from Indy and you're a Colts fan, what did you want to say to him?
I still find it funny that the Jags made quick work of the Colts.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
He did tell me that week,
wow.
though. He's like, I got the feeling the Jags are going to beat the Colts.
Hey, you know what? We know somebody else who wakes up with violence. Who wakes up to violence.
Yeah, he
leave the
woke
kid
up.
in bed.
Doughboy Steve, Neal's kid rules. People are getting people are a big fan of you so far. I would say, Cristiano, you have strong opinions, which is cool. I think that people respect the fact that you have strong opinions. But we are talking about the vernacular and everything.
My question here. So when you're outside in the backyard playing football, are you and your buddies Lions guys, or are you Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and stuff? I mean, or is it like you're Amon-Ra St. Brown, or like do you guys talk? Because we used to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you guys still guys in the backyard or no? You guys are in this gaming generation now where you create your own character. Are you guys yourselves out there when you play football now?
Yeah.
See, I figured that's the way it goes.
Okay, because that's changed, right? Where we go back and I'd be like, oh, I'm quarterback back in the day. I'm, Joe Montana.
Yeah, sometimes we pretend we're like legends and use that, but we're ourselves.
So that's no Lions.
Detroit Dabber says, damn, this kid's dishing it. Well, so are you all right? He hit you with a scud over there.
Yeah, I'm fine. He just came in swinging.
No,
they're saying you have a lot of depth as well.
That's pretty much like, hey, man, cute kid. Ugly, but cute.
Do people
cute, you have a kid, but he's ugly.
People are saying that facts. Vinny Buono says, I feel like I keep hearing facts from people now, and it drives me nuts. Do you guys still use facts?
Sometimes.
Do you?
More facts or truth?
Facts.
Facts.
Big facts.
Big facts.
Cristiano Ruhl joining the show here on Big D Energy. No, but we are chopping it up. And like I was saying, how, when you guys play sports in the backyard now, you guys are yourselves. And I think that a lot of that has to do with your character creation modes and everything that you guys do in Madden right now. Let's settle this right now, too, because you're a Madden guy. You like Madden. Sawyer is very angry with the Madden franchise. I feel like we're pitting, Sawyer... We're trying to create a rivalry here.
Well, he went after me. I mean, I want none of the smoke. Get me away from that.
So you guys have your debate right now on Madden. Why do you like Madden, Cristiano?
It's all we're gonna get. At this point, Madden has a monopoly over the football games. Like, 2K is going to try. It's not going to amount to much, I don't think.
Okay, so you guys have more common ground than you think, Sawyer.
Yeah.
Explain to Cristiano what your hatings with Madden are.
Oh, I just don't like it because it's lazy, and I mean it's pure money grab at this point. The game hasn't changed since like 2012. They're just throwing the same garbage out there every year, and people still buy the slop. So, I mean, it's not going to change.
We were talking about this yesterday because we were going over Cristiano. We were going over the covers of the NCAA new game that they're supposed to come out with in 2023. Now, will that be the college game or whatever? Is that something that you'd be interested in? Obviously, it'd be a few years older and stuff, but is that something that your friends and you know, the create a game, or have you played the old NCAA? Because as Sawyer says, that was like the last sort of good football game that hasn't mailed it in.
Yeah, I'll play it. Obviously, I'll play it. It's probably just going to be a rip-off Madden, but I'll still play it.
And that's Sawyer's big concern, is that they're just going to straight rip off, reskin Madden and roll it out there. But you still pop in the College Football 2014 on the old Xbox, though, from time to time. I see you in there playing it.
Yeah. I did like a whole career where I took my character through like Michigan to the NFL in Madden 22.
And they had like the high school stuff.
Did you win a playoff game?
No, I didn't get drafted to the Lions.
Oh, thank goodness. So he did.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He just told me he did.
What happens when you mix it up with Dad and Tecmo Bowl, though? You catch these hands, don't you?
Let's talk about that. You're not a Tecmo Bowl fan? Just way too simple?
I haven't played Tecmo Bowl in 3 years.
But what happened when you did?
Got destroyed because I didn't play Tecmo Bowl like
That's right.
you did.
That's right.
But it's really, that's for the boomers and the simpletons, right? Tecmo Bowl?
Yeah, if you want to 1v1 me in Madden, be my guest. I'll use the Detroit Lions.
So you keep throwing that around out there, but it's not realistic gameplay, man. You just throw a Hail Mary 4 times, it's going to work 1 time.
Nah, it gets... So in Madden, the defensive backs play the ball way better than the receivers do. It'll get picked.
I don't know. Sawyer, can you confirm this? I'm of the opinion where when I watch the stuff on ESPN, that's what they're doing. They're just throwing the ball down the field, and the receivers catch it. Can you confirm or deny?
Cannot confirm or deny. I haven't played a Madden since like 2015, so I don't really know too much about like the AI.
Dang,
I mean, it sounds like something Madden would do. Make the defense better than the offense.
You know what I can confirm? I can confirm that no matter what, Guardian Alarm, they get it. We might even have to have them come in during the Cristiano segments to keep the semblance in the room. So whether for your home or your business, a good defense helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm is state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 monitoring straight from your phone. Turn on the lights, adjust the temperatures, even if it's on fire. Your smoke detector will go off, and even that silent, deadly killer carbon monoxide. So if you want to be part of the Woodward Sports Big D Energy family, you can, but I need you to call this number. It is 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
I need it on a Thirsty Thursday for everybody in the back and everybody, Lady Jane's getting their haircut. 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of here,
Get
man.
out of my house.
Stay out of Sammy Flannel's house because he's got the Flannel 365 only on work days.
Keep those in-game purchases out.
Keep it, that's it. 1-800 Stay Out. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Big D Energy, Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac. Be right back. Final segment with Cristiano Ruhl. Here.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
No off-season for us. We're talking sports. 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
Coming on the stretch here, final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got Sam Flannel on brand. We got Sawyer here in the house as well. Sawyer taking some missiles from my son Cristiano here about his Indianapolis Colts. And what can you say? There's nothing you can say. Yeah, it hurts, man.
Listen.
Doesn't change your reality.
He is a true Ruhl. He's just spitting facts. Just spitting facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, Sawyer, if you don't like the truth.
We talked some Red Wings today, but I do want to touch on this with the Pistons. It was making the rounds on social media yesterday. They are bringing the teal uniforms back. And as we have my son, as I said, Cristiano Ruhl here in the building, the 1990s era teal jersey. Cristiano, what about that? Do you support the teal Pistons jersey?
Yeah, I love their logo. I have a hat with their logo on it. Their old logo, it's the best.
Really?
I like the
Why
teal.
is that?
Just the horse looks cool.
See, it is that simple for these guys, man.
So, like, my question, right, where you said that, and we go back to baseball, right, where Detroit has one of the most iconic in the Old English D, right? Now, does your generation, but the Old English D, does it still represent to you like that's Detroit, but you'd rather have a hat, like that's a cooler hat?
Yeah, the Old English D still represents Detroit for me, and probably for a few of my friends. I have a fat head on the wall next to my bed with the Old English D on it.
Solid. But you like the different jerseys, whatever else over time.
Do you like the teal jerseys, D-Mac?
They've grown on me.
Yeah,
they've grown on me as you like the options and stuff. I mean, it's not my first choice, but I get it. I like the symmetry. It doesn't. A lot of times, and speaking of horse heads, so when I played in Calgary, and then one of the alternate jerseys had a big
the skull,
horse head on there
the Calgary skull jersey. I never understood that.
I don't know.
What was wrong with the C that was on fire? That seemed classic.
They're going for alternate jerseys and obviously trying to hit the different demographic. What I like is that as busy as that is, it's simple. Put that up against Sawyer if you can. Like with the horse head in there, it doesn't look like it's out of place, or it doesn't look like there's some symmetry there, right? With even the red off the head, so they adjusted it a little bit more. So I could do that one. That one's grown on me. What about you? Do you like the? Are you big into the jersey?
Well,
like
see,
that?
the thing for me is the Grant. It signifies the Grant Hill era to me, and he tapped out. He did. He tapped out.
No, you're right. So and that's.
But it got us a championship because he tapped out. Make no mistake. Nobody keeps score like old Neal Ruhl keeps score, man. Like he tapped out. But that's how we got Ben Wallace, and that's how we won a championship.
Of a bad taste, but now
that's the way to put it. That's the way to put it. I do like it. Like I do like the teal, but Terry Mills. That picture we have with Terry Mills. Yeah,
it's like
I think Terry Mills represents a teal jersey more to me than Grant Hill does. T. Mills, man, shooting the threes.
But if that jersey's more blue, then the old one was more teal, right?
Yeah,
right. The old one was a little bit more teal. We got Sawyer.
Yeah, I was just wanted to say the one I was throwing up was like a fan proposal of like what they would want if they didn't do the teal. It was
but they're doing the teal.
Yeah. This was just like another thing, like, oh, what would you guys think if they did the logo but not the teal? Then also,
I like that. See, I'm more for the logo without the teal. The teal, and you know what? You're right. That's what it is. It's just sort of what does it bring you back to, and then it's almost like. What makes it acceptable is that
it is. Right?
That's
I never understood those Calgary jerseys.
I know, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, I always wanted to wear a black jersey. I went to Wings had an alternative black. I wish they always went to alternative black, but I mean, like, I never even got that. I got it if you're a Stampeder, but the blue one, because you nailed it, Neal. What does the teal remind you of? Grant Hill. What's it remind you of? The failure. Unless you bring it back, they switch the jerseys back. Made that run with the guys
which
obviously
that isn't why that they made the run because they got rid of the teal jerseys. To me
it defines an era, the Grant Hill era.
You're right.
Teal defines the Grant Hill era, and maybe it's more so. I have to do a deeper dive into the brain to see if it's something that it's that disappointment to him. You know what I mean? It represents him more than it represents anybody else.
Yeah, Rack says that Calgary jersey looks like it would be on Settlers of Catan.
Oh, it should be. I should wear my old Calgary jersey when we play. That would be sick. Do I get bonus points for that? Like, do I get an extra, like, horse or something?
That'd be sick.
What do you got, Sawyer?
Oh, I was just saying, I found this as well. Like, they're bringing back the Teals. What if we just bring back an old logo, Fort Wayne Piston style? Just put a big Piston man on there.
That is awesome. I'd rock that.
Sick.
Give me that jersey.
Cristiano, would you rock that jersey right there? Rock that logo?
No.
You wear that T-shirt?
No.
If they make that T-shirt, I'm going to get you one, and you'll wear it.
Great.
Cristiano, appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks
was it fun hanging out with your dad? Is your dad still dorky?
No, it was fun hanging out with you. Thanks for having me.
the professional
good.
response.
Media trained already.
You got him. He is so, and you know what? He does have that smooth cadence.
Yeah,
the crisscross with Cristiano.
that'll be the podcast. There you go, the wrestling podcast, available soon on iTunes. I'm sure. Sam Flannel, appreciate you. Sawyer, D-Mac, good job as always. Appreciate all you people tapping in too, from world politics to wrestling to everything. You guys are probably the most well-versed audience in Detroit sports media. So again, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Another episode of Big D Energy. My name is Neal Ruhl. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Well, see you later.